YouTube. Public. Yeah. All right, here it is. Here it is. What? So am I streaming now? Your channel? Oh yeah, I am streaming now. Okay, beautiful. Okay, am I streaming in like 40p? I am. Okay, good. Good. Okay, there we go. I don't know what the hell happened there. Okay, great. Great. Okay, cool, cool. Great. All right. Okay, so there's that, right? That's good. I need some water. Give me 1 second, and then let's start doing something. It's up on YouTube. Okay, great, great. Thanks. Maybe when I have a bit more subscribers on YouTube, maybe a few thousand, I'll just stop streaming here on Twitch, just out of principles, like because if you guys are being bombarded by Buddy's codes, good evening, buddy. Good. I'm just actually starting the stream now, like at this moment. So good. All right, cool. So what I wanted to do, I don't know, maybe something slightly different today. Like instead of building a programming network, I just wanted to set up a bit of Vim on this machine. I mean, I have my basic setup here, I believe, but I think it would be nice if we do a few more things, right? Gotcha. Do you have any tips for anyone wanting to become a software engineer? Like, I think, yeah, absolutely, I do. I think fundamentally, there are many places where you can start. I think it's almost irrelevant where this place is. You can start on Udemy, you can start on YouTube, you can start on frontendmasters.com, you can start on pluralsight.com, you can start on various platforms. It has never been easier and cheaper to become software engineer. I mean, you are asking me the question now. So technically, if you wanted to have one-on-one with me, like if you wanted me to be your mentor, you would pay me, I don't know, 200 euros an hour or something, right? So why I'm saying this is because it has never been easier to get help if you wanted to become programmer for free. So that's easy. That's the easy part. The hard part, of course, is everything else, which is committing to something, doing the work when it's hard, when you don't get the things right, etc., etc. So I think the most fundamental thing isn't where do you start, right? It's more about, are you willing to do the work that's necessary, right? And there's no course out there or a mentor or a resource that's going to be something that's going to solve that for you, because no matter where you start, no matter which link you get from people in the chat, it's going to be all on you. Are you willing to spend 25, 30, 50 hours a week studying, right, and doing the work, right? So you can start, yeah, on Pluralsight, Coursera, Udemy, FrontMasters if you want to become front-end developer. YouTube has, you know, this code bootcamp or whatever is it called, right? So there are many places where you can start, right? No, I didn't switch to Vim, but we're just gonna do a quick. I just need to configure Vim on my machine here as it's configured on my laptop, because usually the API on my laptop, I write it in Vim because I mostly use VS Code just for I lost the thought, sorry. And I started recording. I actually started with some Jesus fucking Christ, man. What is this? Yeah, let's see what we got here, right? Yeah, free code bootcamp, exactly, whatever. Clearly, if the resources were the issue for people to become programmers, today everybody would be programmers, right? So that's clearly not the issue, right? The issue is way greater than that, right? No, it's not here, but where is it then? No, give me 1 second. Ah, all right. Is it here? Yeah. Good evening, my friend. So I'm just gonna do one thing and then we'll start coding, right? I just want to try setting something up. Again, as I always say, there's nothing better than something else, right? The best tool for you is the tool in which you are the most productive, right? So that's the best tool, right? Don't let anyone else tell you, right, what's the best tool. The best tool for you is the one that you're, yeah, all of my key bindings and stuff now are fucked up. So yeah, because I can see that, yeah. Any editor, right? Like no matter which editor you use, is it VS Code, Visual Studio, whatever, learn some basic shortcuts, right? Learn some basic shortcuts and then you're good to go, right? So there's no such thing as best, right? So that's that, right? So there's no such thing as best. Okay, I'm gonna do this off stream. I don't think it's gonna be fun. I don't think it's gonna be fun for you guys too much to look at, right? But VS Code is certainly amazing. VS Code is amazing. Vim is good for some stuff. I mostly use Vim or Emacs or something similar because I do a lot of SSHing into servers and stuff like that. So for those types of things, I use Vim because it's very convenient, right, to do that type of work. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what you use, right? At the end of the day, if you can learn 5 shortcuts, it's sufficient, right? Go to definition, go to line, global search, some fuzz, quick file search and stuff. 4 or 5 things, if you can learn them, then it doesn't really matter what you use, right? You don't need to know, let me jump to this bracket and then remove everything inside of this block. Those things are useful, right? But they're not that relevant. So truly, there's only few commands that you really need to learn, no matter which text editor you use, and it's maybe 5 commands that I just said. So again, this thing, how do I quickly find a file? How do I globally search, like, for anything, right? This is second one, or first, right? Go to definition, which in VS Code is just command click. In Vim, for example, that would be GD or DG, right? I think your mic is having issues. I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I should reduce is it too loud or whatever? Is anyone else finding those issues as well? I don't have any issues. Good, okay. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. It's okay for me. Okay. So I don't actually know. I mean, I just wanted to stream and have fun. So let's see. So basically, when did I stream? Maybe was it last night that we saw each other? Yeah, maybe, right? So the last thing we did was basically this, right? This type of stuff, I guess. Yeah. Let me just go and check one thing out, though. So if we go here and we go to the lecture, yeah, so that's good. All right, so let's start doing something. Let's start getting this. So essentially, I think what we need to do, I think that's what I wanted to do last night. Set up decorators, right? I think what we have to do is we need to create a okay, let's think about this, right? So essentially what we want when we release those courses feature, right, is we want people, number one, they have to enroll into the course. If they don't enroll into the course, they should only be able to get access to the landing page of the course, but they shouldn't be able to access the lectures and sections, right? So our task basically today, well, now is, do we have some to do, right? Yeah, I mean, that would be difficult, I think, right? Because we would need to know this information, right, based on the user. So users would need to authorize such thing, right? Yeah, but you can't just use the API, right? People have to give you this permission, right? People would have to authorize through Twitch, right? I'm not sure, right? Well, it's not hard for me, 100%, because you can already log in with Twitch. That's not on me, that's on you. Users have to do that, right? Not me. Users would have to authorize with their Twitch, not me, right? I mean, we already have that, right? Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, we can already log in with Twitch, for example, right? So I'm talking about that users would have to give that consent to Programmer Network, right? So every single one of you or people who are, but it's a useless feature simply because, for example, from all of the users that we have registered now, I'm the only one streaming, right? So maybe one day, right? But I think right now, I mean, we have, I think, maybe 300 people signed up or something like that, right? I believe so. Okay, so let's get over here and let's kind of hack away a bit. 25 gold. Good evening, my friend. So essentially, yeah, you can see here. So only a logged in user can create a course. So that's good. Get courses. What does this? So get courses. Anyone should also get. That's kind of. That's kind of, yeah. Update course. Yeah, update is. So let's just go through this list quickly and see what we actually have to do. Update course. Yeah, that's also good. Let's stay here. Toggle publish course. So yeah, so we need to let's spend. So you can clearly see now that anyone basically. So this is those are the permissions we have to at least cover manually for now. So you can see now anyone could say, hey, unpublish any course, right? So we need to make sure that the one doing this is actually the person that owns the course itself, right? And if we actually get over here into our database view, right? And if we actually go to the courses view, so we can see that the course has an ID, type is published, la la la. Let me open this up. And then we have this guy. We have this. Yeah, absolutely sure. I'm gonna check that. I'm not gonna forget about it. It's good that you made a clip. Maybe there is a problem. Yes. Which question? Which function do you use the most? Function declaration, function expression, or arrow functions? Arrow function. I mean, okay, it's a fair question. I think everybody today is writing Lambda functions, arrow functions, right? Just because they're shorter, right? Just because it's shorter, right? But generally, there are some implications between function expressions and function declarations in JavaScript, right? And the difference basically is how they hoist, right? So function expressions are basically hoisted, not hoisted, while function declarations are. We can speak about this, right? I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that, man. Shut the fuck up, right? But I can't do, unfortunately, much about it now because it's related to, you know, I think you basically, every time that when I release a new, every time I push a new front-end version, right, you need to clear the cache. So that's why, right? And right now I don't have a solution for that, right? Okay, so let me just, yeah. Okay, so what we need to do here, we need to say, course ID, author ID, okay. I mean, if I wasn't, right, the amazingness of that name would not be revealed, would it, right? Okay, well, actually, this is pretty much what we're gonna do right now. Now let's go to ChatGPT and see if it has some nice suggestion for us, right? In my Fastify JS, together with SQLize.js, could I somehow turn this into a useful decorator so I can use it on the router level to disallow users to do specific CRUD operations on courses which aren't the authors? Let's see what is it going to suggest in this case. But I think until we have some access control lists, some ACL stuff, let's see. Yeah, something like this is also what I have in my mind, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Perfect. This is literally what we need. It cannot, no. This is beautiful, actually. This is literally what we need. Literally what we need. Beautiful. Okay. So let's go to setup decorators, right? And let's put this somewhere around here. Obviously, we're gonna call this app. Let's just mainly some style, right? Yeah, course ID, yes, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, so nice, so nice. So freaking nice, exactly what I wanted. All right, so great. Okay, perfect. So now, as this generative AI suggests, right, we can just use the pre-handler, right? and we can call this, which is amazing, right? So we can say create handler app dot, what did we call the decorator? Is course author. Right? And we're gonna need another, we're probably gonna, so for the ACL type of stuff for access control lists, right, we will probably need some sort of another decorator that maybe figures out if you are enrolled in a course, right? So, and that's gonna be a slightly inefficient one, but that's what it is, right? Why do a lot of programmers wear glasses? Is that is it a joke? Is it something I should try to assume, or is it a question? Because maybe I can figure out the joke if it's a joke. Ah, it's a joke. I figured. Why do they wear glasses? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah, exactly. Because I knew that one. They can't see sharp. Exactly. Yeah, I think I've heard that long ago. Yes, absolutely. So nice, man. So nice, man. Jesus Christ, how nice can this be? We just put this thing here, and we don't need to convolute our code with the same duplication a million times. Update section, delete section. Yes. Create lecture. Remove course author. What is this? I don't remember that we ever implemented this. Okay, that's strange. I literally don't remember we even implemented this. Okay, that's what it is. All right, great. So to some extent now we have this decorator, right? And we need to test it, right? So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go to the browser. I'm gonna go to incognito. I'm gonna go localhost 3000. Good evening, my friend. Good evening, Kirill. Good, man. Good. How are you? How's life? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create another course as idea maker, basically, as Dominic. He used to be part of the team, but he's now having some stuff to deal in his life. So I'm just gonna create a course like him. So we have another course created by someone else, even though we could have created, oh my God, Panosa. Panosa, I was passing by today, the building where I was biking. I've been with my family to one park here in Fredericksburg, and I saw a bunch of people around the building, and I'm like, man, I gotta have a beer with that guy eventually. All right. So now we should have two courses, I believe, in the platform created by two different authors, right? Yes, exactly. So what I'm gonna try doing now, yeah, man, yeah. So what I'm gonna try doing now is I'm gonna try some of those actions and see if our basically. So just for those of you who just joined, we've just created a decorator, basically a Fastify decorator that checks if you're the course author. So instead of writing this logic, actually Panosa, actually, you know, it's not going to be possible to co-author initially, right? So it's a good question. It's just I don't think. Yes, I think a couple of weeks after we release this feature, I think we will have that, but initially we will not. Again, Stream is making me often do those things, like increase the scope just for the fun of it. But I think let's just hope that someone else except me is gonna even be writing those courses, right? So I think we really need to be careful with features like this one, because my perception of this feature and my assumption is that, I don't know, I'm very skeptical that people are gonna, it's gonna take a while for anyone to really see value, and why would you even want to do this, right? And you know, making a course requires time, and right. I mean, that's the only thing we're probably gonna do, most likely. Just, but yeah, it's, I don't think we're gonna have it initially, no. Okay, so let's try to update the course now. So let me actually just go here in a database view. So we have a course with an ID 2 that doesn't actually belong to me. And if I try to do this now, we're probably going to get an error that our JWT expired, right? Exactly. So let's grab our JWT, right, from the cookies, right? Let's grab it from here, and yeah, there we go. So let's go to headers. Let's say cookie, and then let's paste this fella over here. Let's see what happens. Must have property type. All right, and we're probably doing something wrong with. I haven't been there since December. I see. How come? Update course. Let me see. Update course. Yeah, over here. So it takes the course ID, the body that it, so it takes the type. Why would it take the type as mandatory? That's super strange. I don't think any of this technically should be required. I mean, assuming that this is basically a patch, right? You're not the author of this course. Beautiful. Let's try to update my own. And then I can do that, right? So we can see that actually our decorator works, meaning now we actually have too many projects were okay. Yeah, actually for me it's like I'm working basically 100% of the time from the office, right? So I'm passing by that building nearly every day. Well, not nearly, actually every day, right? Okay, so let's see where is it that we have all of this stuff. So if we go to the router, so we just tested update course. Let's test toggle publish thing. And the body, so this is published, yeah. So let's create this fella in our collection here. So we're gonna say, let's create a new thing. So let's say new request. Let's say toggle published state. You deserved it, man. I mean, you know, you're the well, indeed a VIP. Indeed a VIP for sure, without a question. Yeah, of course, man. Like, if this project ever sees light of the day, I would make sure not to forget any of you guys in very different ways, or any other projects. It's like, if there wasn't for some of you, I mean, initially, maybe I wouldn't even be streaming anymore, like from a long ago. Okay, so we can see that toggle publish also works. And actually, we can get rid of this. That's actually quite awkward. So toggle publish works, and it basically... yeah, it basically takes whatever this thing is. Okay, so party in my yacht. I mean, the thing is, let me tell you one thing. I have no doubts that one day in a couple of years, I'm gonna succeed with something. Now, is it gonna be this, right? Is it gonna be this? I don't actually know. But if it's not this project, it's gonna be some project. I have no doubts, because all of this I'm using as an experience to, if I don't succeed with this one, meaning I'm gonna succeed with the next one. So it's always, you know, you gather more and more knowledge and experience, and then if that's, man, if that's for you, I'm not using Next.js. This is just React, in case that's for me. Okay, so what do we do? Create course, get update course. So this one we checked, toggle publish course, delete course. Yeah, so I shouldn't also be able to delete the course that I don't own, right? Clearly. No, I'm not, no. And I probably will not. What did I want to do? Oh yeah. So delete course. Let's try to delete the course with an ID of 2. You're not the author of this course, right? So that's good. So that also works. Great. So let's keep on going. Delete, create section, section body. Yeah, so I mean, we have most of this stuff in our Tundra client, so we should be able to test it already. Section, create section, course with an ID of 2. I should not be able to add a section to the course that I don't own. Great, right? If I try to do that to my own, should work, right? If I try to do it to, again, to the course. In React, you can only update adding version. I mean, for sure, right? Like Next.js, right? Like WordPress and many other server-side rendering technologies that exist for 20 years now is very good for SSO, right? For search optimization engine and stuff like that, right? So from that perspective, it would certainly be useful, right? It would certainly be useful to have some of those features that Next.js or WordPress provide. There's no question about that whatsoever. Those features are not that valuable for me to use it, right? Because certainly my least concern right now with this project is search optimization, right? Also, yeah, let's maybe quickly create a task. The thing is, man, right? This is just has not been an issue, something that I treated like an issue. So that's why you're maybe, you know, but update build version or whatever during each build. Yeah, right. All right, so let's just keep on going. So create a section should, so we tested this one. Let's just keep on going here so we can kind of get this done. The create section, update section. So let's just double check all of this crap so we are sure that we update the section. Yeah, I mean, 100%. But also just for your context, right? Just so you guys make sure that you understand each other. Yes, there is an issue now. There is an issue with the programmer network frontend now when oftentimes when I push a new version, something happens with the cache and people have to do a hard refresh. They're getting a blank page, right? So that's what man is referring to, right? Git push, git pay. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. How did I implement? I implemented it manually, Jace. I just used the auth API from GitHub. Using a framework for React. I'm not actually sure what do you mean using a framework. React is a framework, so what do you mean? Or a library? Vite is not a framework. Vite is a build tool, right? Yes, I'm using Vite. And Vite is a build tool, not a framework. Next.js, no, I'm not using that, no. I'm just using React. Okay, so that's good. That is good. So we can basically assume that all of this stuff works, right? So this basically decorator works, right? So we can now assume that we are safe from that perspective, right? We can assume that we're safe from that perspective, right? If we actually go to our README file here, right? Let's open up Swagger. Keeps strangely opening it on my upper screen, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, let's actually go to the rating resource as well and just double check that quickly as well, so we can kind of have certainty in this. So what is it? Ratings, controller, router, whatever, controller. Let's see what's happening here. So add rating, rateable ID, author ID. I'm using Fastify for the API. Which font am I using? I think you can type font if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can. Great. There you go. So the only thing with this generic rating stuff now is that it would be nice if we somehow, so for example, yeah, so we need to kind of, in a generic way, figure out So for sure, right, we need to safeguard ourselves here, and we're going to do that in a second, right? So let's do that now. The only issue I have with this now is that you can technically right now rate, for example, a course, even if you're not part of it, which doesn't make sense, right? So that's one issue for sure. Andre, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your follow. So let's solve those first, right? So let's take a look at our database view here. Let's see. I think the rating itself does contain an actual user ID of some sort. So we can see we have a rating that has an author ID. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, all right. So let's do that. So add rating is fine for now. So instead of this, let's say rating find one. We're gonna say ID and then author ID, right? So that's that, and we need to do the same for deleting the rating, right? So do this. That's now good as well. So from that perspective, now we're safe, right? Now, yeah, we have a slight issue here, right? Because I do not, negative, but I know it's very popular in Finland. So I kind of get your question. Actually, let me tell you one story, Leo. Maybe 5-6 years ago, I was sitting in a city center here in Copenhagen, drinking a beer with my wife. Actually, quite an interesting story. So I'm sitting with my wife, we're drinking a beer in one of the bars, just a random small cozy bar, and a guy next to me, you know, older gentleman, right? He just starts talking, right? And I invite him, like, hey man, you wanna sit and have a beer with us? You know, I just felt the guy sitting alone, and he was actually the Finnish hockey coach. He used to be a national trainer of your hockey team, hockey team. He told me when they played in Russia, he met Putin as well and stuff like that. So it was quite an interesting guy to design. Thank you very much, man. What's the 5th month? Crazy, man. Crazy. But anyway, Leo, I think I met your Finnish national hockey league coach. And this was maybe 5-6 years ago. It was pretty, we got drunk like hell. I think we drank for like 5 hours or something. Really great guy, yeah. I don't remember his name, but I might still have his number. Let me check it. Well, if I remember that we exchanged numbers, and I told him when he's again in Copenhagen to send me a message. How the fuck do I do that on iPhone? How do I contacts? Yeah. Contacts, yeah. Oh, he was, never mind, actually, sorry. I don't remember, let me... It was this guy, yes. 100%. Fuck, do I have... Yeah, I have this guy on WhatsApp. I have him on WhatsApp. Yep. Have this guy on WhatsApp, I swear to God. It was this guy, yes. What a cool guy, man. Super cool guy, dude. I swear. Super cool guy. Yeah, I got drunk with him and my wife like hell, man. I can tell you, this guy can drink. This guy can drink, man. Like... He can drink, trust me. Like, he wasn't even... Yeah, actually, yeah, we started talking crap after a couple of hours because we were very, very kind of hot. Yeah. But I have him on my... I have him here on let me actually... I'm just installing WhatsApp on this iPhone. I have him here. I have him here. Okay, fuck it, man. You just triggered me. But yeah, well, there you go, man. I got drunk with your coach. Okay, all right, so... So the only issue that we have with this, right, is that maybe it would have been better if we didn't generalize it like this, but instead that we made this part of the actual course's endpoint. So instead of having add rating, we could have had add course rating, right? And then in that circumstance, we could have then just said, hey, you can only add a rating to the course that you are, because we would use the rateable ID and the rateable type, right? Here, if we mix that up with this logic, now we're going to convolute and destroy this genericness of this thing itself, right? So, and I'm just somehow lazy to do that now. Just doesn't, it's not fun. But essentially, yeah, we would have add rating here instead, right? Add course rating or something like that. In fact, you know, let's just do that, right? Because I think we have to do it anyway. That's how it is. So Yeah, I mean, I could, but I don't think it's worth it, right? I don't see the benefit of that, right? I think Panosa, this rating feature works identically the same to comments, right? So, like, because if I do that, then I need to create a mapping table of every single potential other thing that I end up having rating on, right? So I don't know. I don't think that's particular. Yeah. No, there's no problem, right? The problem right now is, right, is that add rating is generic. So I can't, so the thing is, I don't want you to be able to rate the course, for example, that you didn't enroll in yet, right? So for instance, here, if we go to this course, right, you shouldn't be able to rate it if you didn't even enroll in it. It doesn't make sense, right? And in order for us to ask that question, it would, I cannot ask here, hey, if not enrolled, return early, right? Because I don't want to couple this thing with the course itself, right? So I think more accurate way would have been if we here in there. Well, the front end wise, yes, but you could still kind of go around this with, you know, just doing an HTTP call to something that's not the UI, right? So yes, you get what I mean. So you can still get around that and just still leave a rating on something that you aren't enrolled in, right? So we need to do the server-side validation as well, and the way that we could do that is, yeah, if this was basically, if we had something like const add course rating, right? So that's that, right? We don't have to do that now, indeed, but yeah. So that's good. All of that is good. So we are kind of protected in that sense. We just added this decorator to a bunch of places, and that's great. Exactly, Panosa. Exactly. So good. So from that perspective, we're kind of safe now. So we only make sure. And shit. And I think we need another. We need another decorator. A 403 type of one. 403 that this allows you to view the resource if you are not enrolled in a course, right? So let's duplicate this, and let's say is enrolled in a course. Let's see how would this decorator look like. Where is it? I guess course enrollment. Yeah. So user ID, course ID. Yeah. Course enroll. Yeah. So we have this guy, right? Actually, yeah, literally what we need. Yeah. Okay, that's a bit strange. Just to keep kind of adhering to the same style we wrote, let's just do it like this. Let's also say here 403 as well. I mean, whatever, doesn't really matter, right? Does it? Let's do this, and you're not enrolled in a course to which this resource belongs. Something like that, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Now, just thinking, give me a second here. The thing is, we don't really fragmentally deliver those things. Like when you call get course, we basically respond with the whole thing, right? All right, so I think I have an idea actually. So let's say here, when you get a course, that which fields we include is conditional to the fact if you're enrolled or not, right? So you can see here, so the ratings and la la la. But I think over here, for example, we can give me a second. So actually, I think that's a pretty good idea to simplify this and not to ruin the simplicity of the existing implementation, right? So we can see here that when we get the course, we return a bunch of stuff: the students enrolled in it, course author, ratings, but then the course sections themselves contain course lectures, and that's the only valuable thing. So the only thing we want to say, hey, exclude this information from a course if the user isn't really the user isn't enrolled, right? Yeah. So yeah. So basically what we're gonna actually do, and I'm gonna take a look, man, in a second, right? Thank you very much, Tito Jarvis, for the follow. Appreciate it, dude. So let's kind of do this thing here, right? Let's do this. And yeah, this is gonna be basically shit. Yeah. Okay, no, all good, all good, all good. Wait a minute, I have an idea as well. Is logged in. I think we can use this. Where are we using this? I think we can. Give me 1 second. I just think this is the same idea I think I had here. Okay, I see. Okay, so I think we could do something like that here, right? Yeah, so basically, yeah, exactly. Good. I think I have a good idea. Okay, fine. So that's what we're gonna do here as well. To this fella over here on what the fuck? Okay. Yeah, okay, great. Good. So we can do this to ensure, yeah, something, and then essentially here, so if you are logged in, the user is going to exist here. If you're not logged in, the user is not going to exist. So here we can say, Yeah, so we basically have to ensure a few things. So we can say exactly. So we have to check on few things. So we can say, you know, const is log in is dot user. So if it's not logged in, we don't want to actually perform this query. It would be useless, because if you're not logged in, then we want to basically exclude some of the items, right? Sequelize.js, what was it? Includes, right? Includes or selected. No. What was it, man? All right, let's actually this is where TypeScript often is useful, right? Anyway, what was it called? Man, what the hell was it named? Attributes, yeah, attributes. Okay, great. Exactly. Okay. Oh shit, this is the front end. Okay. So yeah, so over here we want to say attributes include, or is there exclude? Yeah, so exactly. So basically we want to only have, I guess, yeah. So we want to exclude something only if we want to exclude it conditionally, right? So if you're either not enrolled or if there's no user, right? So okay, great. So yeah, so if it's not logged in, so we're gonna should exclude lectures if there's no request user, right? Jace, you too, my friend. Have a great one. Thank you for being here, as always. Or we're gonna do something like this. I mean, I don't personally, as you know me by now, I don't actually care about TypeScript, right? JavaScript is a beautiful language, and it's beautiful because it's dynamic and it's convenient, right? So I can't really, I don't, you know, been writing JavaScript for 15 years, right? And I'm not getting into those childish discussions, right? In simple words, if people want to use TypeScript, they can. If they don't want to use it, they shouldn't. And for me, that's where it starts and ends. Everything else is just ridiculous, right? Just hilarious. What is to say, right? Exactly. Pretty much. 100%. 100%. If I wanted to write strictly typed language, I would be writing Go, not JavaScript, right? At least in the API. As simple as that. Or something similar, right? This is the idea that I have. Let's see if that idea can be justified. So if I go to courses and I go to this, it fails. Beautiful. Definitely worked out of the box. Clearly. Actually, maybe it did work. Maybe it did work. Give me a moment here. It did work, I guess. Numinex, good evening, buddy. No, I think it's a course section should exclude lectures. That's so if user is not logged in. So let me print here. Sorry, that's actually wrong. Request user. So there is something wrong. Let's see. Request user. Test. So we do actually have the user now. We made one slight mistake. We didn't make any mistakes, so that's good. We do have the user with an ID. Beautiful. What are you breaking tonight? Yeah, just tidying up the API and stuff, and for the courses, right? And just having some chats and some fun. What about yourself? So if there's no ID or Pozdrav HPN, how are you, my friend? How's life? So actually, I am enrolled, right? Okay, so this should be the opposite, right? I think 5 years. I think 5 years question, right, can be very relevant, right? Can be very relevant depending on your seniority, right? Especially for the leading position. For example, I'm working as a tech lead, right? And I think for me, for the first time in my life, now sometimes in a way, and I probably in my next job, or if I don't for my own company, might be, you know, a CTO or something. And I feel that at those points in my career, asking such a question actually helps me, because I truly now need to figure out where I want to go after all these years, right? But I agree, it's in most cases it's a very shitty question, yeah, but not always, I think. All right, so I think this is a bit better. It's easier to reason about, right? Let's write code that it's easy to reason about, right? That's the most important, right? So that's good. And then if we go to the Yuki, thank you very much, man. And if you go to this other course, that should fail because we are not exactly. So that's failing, and it's failing because of the UI, because UI is not handling the fact. Well, I mean, you know, when you're junior, right, your main preoccupation is code, right? And that's easy, right? You know, I've been working for 15 years almost. I think next year is going to be professionally, just without thinking, right? So those types of questions that you might think now don't apply to you, they will eventually apply, right? Because when you're junior, your almost main occupation is you just think about code. You think about frameworks, you think about libraries, you discuss those things. But as you grew up in your career and move more into leadership positions and stuff, then you no longer think about code in the same way, right? You think about it from a business perspective a lot more, right? So when you're junior, you're mind blown, you're intrigued, you're like, how is this working? And then you're learning. And I'm not saying that, right? But over time, your shift is gonna change. It's just a natural process. I'm not trying to be smart ass or anything, right? I just think that your perception and for example, my main motivation now at work is enabling others, right? That's something that truly motivates me, right? So at my work, you know, I help a lot of other teams, I help a lot of people, I help my own team that I'm running, right? So that truly inspires me. If I can make my other developers more productive, right? Karex, good evening. Yeah, you will. I mean, you will. But that is why I go to work, right? My motivation is if I can make my team perform better, provide clarity, give them the knowledge I have, then that feels great. And you have to, and that's the thing, right? You have to rediscover yourself, right? For example, at one point in your career, you're going to be very inspired by code, by frameworks and all of this stuff, and that's great. Hopefully that lasts very long. But then, you know, you're going to have to say, well, okay, I just feel I've tried all of those frameworks. They all seem the same to me, you know. So then you're going to have to rediscover so you constantly throughout life, you have to rediscover yourself, right? You will never be just inspired by writing code, right? Because eventually you're going to realize, okay, now I've learned those patterns and I've built the same button or API or something million times, right? So now I just have to find something else that inspires me. And maybe that's going to be building products and making your users happy, building something that people want to use, making your colleagues more productive, helping them, teaching them, enabling them to be as great as you are, etc., right? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Man, no, can you paste it again, please? I think I missed it. Let me just fix this tiny thingy here. Section, course, lectures. Yeah. So yeah, so let's go to the landing page of a course landing page, right? And over here, we're gonna just do one tiny thingy. Course sections, exactly. So essentially, yeah, section title. And we made a slight maybe mistake in the API. Not a mistake. I think this is fine to include, right? I just believe that this model here we should have. So we can include the lectures, but we can just include their titles, not their descriptions, right? So yeah, but again, you don't have to think about so far ahead, right? Focus. I mean, life is one, right? And this is not to be some bullshitter or whatever, but genuinely, you know, focus on the things which are ahead of you now. You know, I don't know, maybe, you know, I'm 34 years old now, but when I was 18, I wanted to be 30, right? Or 50, right? When I was young, I wanted to be old, and now when I'm old, now when I'm older, I want to be younger. So, you know, if you're young by any means, and if you're just 18 to 20 years old, right? Just focus on the things that are in front of you now and try to enjoy them, try to make it fun for you, for yourself. Because, you know, it's just a process. You're 28. Well, okay, you're old enough then. I can do that. Man, give me 1 second. But yeah, just yeah. I actually, let me open it up. Yeah, there you go. I know that there's some yeah, under quotes, youngsters here, and if you are of similar age, just yeah. Don't rush it, right? Its experience cannot be rushed. It's just a matter of just a matter of going to things. So of course we're young. We're still all very young. Come on. So man, what are you trying to show me here? I'm confused. What is the problem? I'm not sure what are you trying to tell me here. It's all about perception, right? Some people behave like they're gonna die when they're 20. Some people live their lives with their full lungs when they're 85, right? So it's all in your head, right? There's no such thing as young and old. It's all about how you perceive life, right? Are you saying that are you saying that this piece of code is causing it, or? Yeah, interesting, Numinix. It must fix it. Okay, let me just bookmark this so I just don't run away from what I'm doing now. It's right here, so it's the next thing. You know, just be yourself, Numinex, right? That's the only thing we can all do. Being ourselves, right? What other people think is who gives a crap, right? We like to. It clears users' cache. I see. That's a good point as well. Let's just leave that for a moment. Please. I just have to, but very fair points. I promise I'm gonna fix this most likely off stream, so don't worry. I will find some cache revalidation. I think this issue is, the thing is, so yeah, I'll solve it, right? Any tips for people? Well, main tip is start now, right? It's always the best to start yesterday, right? Then tomorrow, right? So, and then ask yourself, why do you want to do that, right? Ask yourself, why didn't you do that already? Maybe there's some hidden signs. You know, it's sometimes good to ask yourself why I didn't do something, right? For example, if you ask me, if I ask myself, why don't I go to the gym? I know the reason is because I hate gyms, right? I like to go running outside. So yeah, so try to figure out first why do you want to do it, and if that's something that you truly want to do it, try to ask yourself, do you understand what it means to be a programmer? And then start yesterday, right? Start as quickly as you can and build things, right? That's a very general but very direct suggestion, right? There's so many resources, free resources. You don't need a school. You just need perseverance and continuity, and those are the hardest thing to achieve in life. To be constant in something, to keep coming back, that is the real skill. Everything else is just formality, right? But to keep coming back to something constantly, day by day, spending hours and hours every day, that is the hard part of anything. Losing weight, having a relationship, writing code, right? So, but in simple words, you can definitely do it intellectually. Anyone can learn to write code. That's not the hard part of programming. Programming isn't hard because of programming. It's hard because you need to sit by some screen every single day of your life and just write some gibberish, right? Exactly. So actually, it's way too much information, right? So ask yourself, am I willing to commit to anything, or let's say programming several hours a day for a year before I can become something interesting for others to look at? Can I turn myself into a product within a year? When I say a product, we are all products. We're all trying to sell ourselves. So you can think of self as a product. So are you willing to sit for a year and learn some skills that are going to then enable you to be valuable, right? That's how I think philosophically, right? We are all products, and yeah, my pleasure, man, my pleasure. But in simple words, you don't need books, you don't need some gurus to tell you things. In life, some things are logical, and one of the logical things is that if you work hard, if you create your own luck, you're gonna succeed. If you don't work hard, if you sit playing video games 10 hours a day, then you will not succeed. That is most basic primitive logic you can have. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. It's as simple as that. Of course, now there are variations. We can take, oh, well, kids in Africa, la la la. Fuck you, right? We shouldn't take extreme cases of poverty or whatever in the world then to prove the points. If we take an average person in the western part of the world, we can assume that anyone can be successful if they want to. If we, you know, remove extreme cases of poverty, sickness, mental illness and stuff, people who are not successful, mostly in the western part of the world, are just lazy, and they shouldn't be successful in the first place, right? It's as simple as that. Everything else is a lie. Okay, so going back to this, yeah, exactly. So going back to this, yeah, exactly, sure. So what I'm actually gonna do here, so this is slightly wrong, right? So yeah, so actually this is just slightly wrong. I'm gonna do this, and then here it's gonna be the attributes, which are actually gonna be and I want to exclude, basically, I want to exclude, what is it? Course, lecture. I want to exclude the video URL and content. So we're actually, nah, let's actually, instead of thinking in reverse, let's think, so let's only say, hey, only include the title. So if you're not enrolled, only thing we want to include is the, no, actually, no, it's okay. So we're gonna say exclude, what do we say? Exclude the content and video URL, okay. So if it's enrolled, don't exclude anything. Course, lecture excludes. The fuck? I see. I mean, you have to be, I mean, the thing is, again, life can be very complicated if you're lying to yourself, and it can be very simple if you're true to yourself, right? So I think the most fundamental skill in life is self-awareness, right? If you manage in your life to bring yourself to the point where you can be honest with yourself, then all sorts of doors open. So once you start finding excuses, blaming others, and being lazy, if you can remove those things from your life, you can really, again, in okay circumstances in the Western world, again, let's not take kids in Africa and some poverty type of examples, that's idiotic. So yeah, so if you truly need an advice in life, the only advice you truly need is just yeah, it's literally that, right? Everything else is just bullshit, right? People lying to themselves. Attributes exclude, okay. Pretty much, yes. Course, lecture, attributes exclude. Course, yeah, content, video URL. Give me 1 second. Maybe it did actually work. Panosa, getting back to you in 2 seconds. Course, lectures. So actually it did work, I suppose. It's just what it, I think this is the issue. So it actually needs the model name of the property, not the actual table name, lowercase, right? So I think it actually does work with our assumption of what we wanted to do. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, that's actually very good. So now we actually have excluded the actual lecture content, yeah. I think Leo, I think Leo, that is implicit, right? So no matter what you do, nobody disagrees that you have to take care of your health and stuff, of course, right? That is fundamental survival instinct of any human being, because we are self-destructive at nature as human beings. So your goal in life is to be as less of self-destructive as you possibly can, because we are fundamentally flawed, right? We smoke, we drink, we eat unhealthy, right? So fundamentally, it's quite the opposite. You want to be as less of that as possible, right? Yeah, pretty much, Panosa. Let me actually read that, right? Let me read that. Give me 1 second. But I'm using Vite, right? So we need to do this with Vite. I'm not using Webpack, right? Well, man, right? I have to agree with Panosa to a degree that if GitHub, for instance, is down, then your solution isn't sufficient. And your solution is a bit hacky, right? Because I should not be clearing cache by calling GitHub or some stuff like that, right? So there has to be a more general way to do that, right? I feel that I need to do that in my own infrastructure, right? Maybe in Cloudflare somewhere, right? Because I think, let's take a look at this, right? We'll see, right? Maybe. I mean, again, this isn't something I've spent 1 minute on, so I would be hesitant to make any assumptions right now, right? But I'm sure that I'll solve it, right? And I'll solve it in the most right way, right? I'm sure this is also something that I can solve here on the Cloudflare level, right? So I don't think I'm gonna be ending up writing any scripts. I doubt so, right? Because I'm pretty sure the issue is somewhere in the Cloudflare pages configuration, right? I'm almost certain, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, so we can see something most likely that I'll need to take a look at, right? But this is, as Numinex basically mentioned, and you, man, and Panosa, right? It is a cache invalidation type of issue, and it's not something that was invented yesterday, right? So this is a general problem with any front end, and you need some sort of strategy to solve that, right? So let's just do that there. And I'm not gonna do that now, because that's not what we're doing now, right? But I agree definitely that is the most important thing to solve. So after this stream, maybe even tonight, I'm not tired yet, and it's Sunday tomorrow, so I might actually sit after the stream and solve this. Why? Because I've seen a bunch of those errors actually happening that you reported, right, that you see yourself, and I sometimes see them as well when I go to Programmer Network. I actually think that, and we had actually a bunch of people signing up today. Thank you guys, thanks for signing up. I think, where did I see them? I think I see those issues in centric.js. Let me show you, right? So if we go to our Sentry instance here, and if we go to the front end project, right? You can see that if we go to issues, right? You'll notice that we indeed get those things that man reported, right? We have error loading dynamically imported module, right? And this is all almost related to the same thing, pretty much the actual caching, right? Then we have this thing, which I also believe is related to this thing, right? So I think we need to solve that, right? I think it should, but let me just, yeah. I'm just gonna write all of your suggestions as always, right? It's super valuable. So I'm also gonna store that cache bin link. Give me 1 second. Paste bin link, sorry. Ah, shit. Where's my chat now? Yeah, okay, give me 2 seconds. Paste bin, yeah. Copy link address. All right, cool. And let's just save that here as well, just so we can get all of the aggregated stuff from you guys. Cool. Yeah, beautiful. Lagoose followed you. Well, there you go, buddy. There you go. Follow back to you as well. Okay, so yeah. All right, good, great, beautiful, perfect, amazing. So actually what's happening now, right, is that we did what I wanted, right? So now if I refresh this thing here, right, we can see that this course that I'm not enrolled in, I'm getting some course information, but what I'm not actually getting is the necessary data. So actually let's also exclude the order as well. And why am I not excluding all of it, you might wonder? Well, because when I get to the course kind of landing page, I want people to be able to see the course overview, right? So the sections and stuff, but I don't want them to be able to see the actual data of the course itself, right? The video and stuff like that. You have to enroll, right? And now I guess if I refresh, and that kind of sucks, we'll probably need to call the API again once you enroll. But if I do this, I think I should be able now to see it. And as you can see, I do see it. Course, content, order, video URL and stuff. Okay, beautiful. And now if I go here, yeah, that's super. Great. So, all right, beautiful. Let me just read this. Let me just review my own thing here. This endpoint. Yeah, if the user is logged in, we need to check if they are enrolled in the course. If they're yeah, exactly. Oh my god, I can't wait for this Copilot X. Imagine how great that's gonna be. Okay, so we left that comment just so we know why the hell do we have, because in a way, you know, if you ever read the Clean Code book, right, there's one of the quotes there, I think I shared with some of you before, that says, Bjorn, the guy who wrote C++, he said, I like my code to be, you know, simple and clean, and dependencies minimal to ease maintenance, and optimizations close to optimal, so not to tempt people to do crazy optimizations that nobody can understand, right? Now, while this has nothing to do with that, in a way, this is not an optimization, right? You can see, you can kind of see that this doesn't fit the rest of the generic endpoints here, right? Because most of them are just simple CRUD. So this sort of stuff is good to comment simply because it is kind of out of the ordinary, right? So that's why I'm putting a comment there, right? That's the main reason, right? And actually, yeah, we no longer need this, right? Because if we go to the actual router, we have this pre-handler. We basically have the Fastify decorator that we created, right? Which is this, this fella here. And now instead of duplicating this code in every single endpoint, we'd call this as a decorator, as a middleware, as a hook, right? So we call this is course author basically, right? Panosa, man, thank you very much. Always I can even say an honor to have you here, man. So thank you for passing by and spending your time here. I really appreciate it, dude. Have a good night, man. Thank you. Okay, water. Let me just drink more water, 1 second. All right, cool. Well, great. Let's commit some of this stuff. This, I don't think we use this anywhere, so we'll just nuke this. Yeah. So this one, unfortunately, well, actually not unfortunately, we just don't need that. So this is what we have. Set up decorators, so that's the only thing. Beautiful. Sure, not part of this crap, but whatever. Ratings. Wow, okay. Sure. Great. Schema. Amazing. Yes, great. Let's update the Thunder client stuff as well, because we updated the JSON. Basically, this Thunder client extension in VS Code, it generates the JSON. So every time you kind of do this, when you document or whatever, when you create those requests here, they're actually stored in a JSON files, right? Which is this thing here, right? This is not Thunder tests. Why is this useful? Why am I sharing this with you? But well, say that you go to work and all of you guys, all of your developers, they're using VS Code, then you can kind of have those things in your history, meaning that, you know, whenever you actually use this to test or call one of your new endpoints, your colleagues then obviously have the access to those same things, right? So that's why you would want to commit those things, right? Obviously, that's not particularly useful if your teammates are using different text editors. Then this JSON basically isn't really any standard. It's not represented in any standard, so they can't really use this in any other meaningful way. Well, they could, right? Exactly, Pepper. Yeah. So this is the JSON that whenever you create or say one of those things, one of those collections in VS Code, this is basically that's how it's represented. And this is kind of the back end of it, right? So yes, you're correct. Yes, that's pretty much what I said. Yeah. That is correct. Yes, indeed. Indeed, yes. Okay. Again, very useless commit because I'm the only one working on this feature. So there's really no need for any additional context, right? Let's go to my GitHub. And yeah, let's go to the GitHub. 7 more people up until 200. That's cool. Nice. So let's go to the GitHub. Let's go here. And yeah, let's go to actions and let's see if our stuff is building. So we're pushing it to production now. Hopefully we didn't push anything that's gonna break things down. I think we are actually in the middle of the push, which is why this thing is failing, right? It's probably 502 or something. Yeah. Let's, in the meanwhile, take a look at our Grafana. Let's see if we had any errors, right? Let's go to the API logs, and we did have one greater than for a 4. What was it? So we had 500 actually. Interesting. Whew. Okay, so I'm not very happy with that because a couple of evenings ago, right, I have updated my error serializer, right? And my error serializer now should be including the stack trace and stuff of all of the errors whatsoever. This one was a 500 and most of those are just 400s, right? So I suspect that that the 500 might have occurred somewhere here, like this one maybe, but we're not logging that, so that kind of sucks. But we are actually logging everything here, so we should have gotten that, shouldn't we, right? So that's a bit awkward. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very happy with that. Let's actually go back here in my Grafana while our project is deploying. Let's see, is it deployed? Yeah, okay, we're good. I guess it is deployed, or no, it's actually being deployed now. Okay, cool. So let's go here. I just want to check one thing. So yeah, so we didn't actually get a stack trace or anything. So that's a bit strange. Yeah, that kind of sucks, this card. Because I wanted to see a stack trace in here now as well, but actually we didn't get it. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I'll play with that off stream, so it's okay. Let's just make sure that we didn't crush our server with this latest push. No, seems it's still up. Did our CI finish? It did. Beautiful. Okay, great. So let's close that up. Let's close that up. So now, obviously, right, going back to the front end a bit, I think now we need to solve more of the front end issues, more specifically the layout itself, right, and some of the things. So we can now say that for the most part, 95% of the part, our API is kind of safeguarded against, you know, permissions and stuff like that, and it's validated and stuff like that. So that's okay, right? And I think now let's go to our Swagger. Let's just refresh here. So we have all the courses stuff done, right? So those are, so how many endpoints we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 endpoints for the courses, and then we have, well, few for the ratings. And yeah, we can kinda assume that that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so let me just do one thing. So we need to do just a bit more permission stuff in the front end. So if I go to the course enrollment, right? Let's say that I'm actually not enrolled in a course 2, right? Just so in the UI, when I get here, we see a bit different UI, right? Actually, I love it as well. I think it's going to be a great course. I'm actually going to talk about all 3 characters of the alphabet. Clearly, I'm going to talk a lot about the D. I'm going to throw in some lessons about the S1, how you pronounce it, and then a lot of the stuff about A, clearly, right? And it's going to be great. I like it. I like it, actually. It's going to be beautiful. Exactly. It's basically data structures and algorithms and then 4x, right? So it's going to be great. It's like going to be super nice. Agreed? Agreed? Okay, so let's do some tiny things so at least we do get some work done today besides the API. So basically, yeah, you shouldn't be able to leave a review. At least, again, it's a very MVP type of feature that we're going to release, right? But clearly it doesn't make sense that you can leave a review on something that you aren't even part of, right? So that's a bit idiotic, right? So let's see what we actually get here. Let's take a look. It also doesn't make sense that we are not, yeah. So let's yeah, okay. So that we can do another time, because yeah, obviously published courses shouldn't be fetchable or should be visible, but we actually don't want to deal with that because we want to see this course that's written by someone else, because now we are browsing the course as not being the author of that course, right? So yeah, so okay, course author. So I think if we go here, course enrollment, right? So that's basically the students, right? So where are the students? Actually, so all good, right? So there's actually no students being part of this course, meaning I'm not enrolled in this course, right? So let's write that logic to hide this comment ability, because we validated that in the API already, right? So the rating widget itself, we have to do that there, right? Course ID, course ratings, course rating widget. Let's go in there. Yeah, so this thing obviously, yeah, can't be visible if you're not enrolled, right? So let's so yeah, let's write that logic, that simple expression, right? So let's see what we're gonna have. So let me just see. So I'm showing this button now if you're authenticated and it's not this and blah blah blah, right? Okay, let's take this out from there. Let's keep it somewhere here, right? Can leave rating, right? Let's just keeping the JSX, which is already convoluted by nature, as clean as possible is clearly better, right? So let's do. So if you're authenticated, the form is not open and you haven't rated already. And I think another one is if you're not enrolled in a course, right? So let's say here students, right? And we're gonna say course students. No, no, we can't do that now. We're kind of mixing concerns. So I think most accurate assumption about how to do this would be to pass this prop from the outside to leave this rating widget generic enough, right? So I think more so we should actually, so let's say here, let's do something like this. Can add rating prop, right? And then yeah, something like this, right? Yes. Okay, let's so we're gonna move this out, right? So this is good, right? This is kind of how, this is kind of, yeah, this is actually perfect. All good. So we do this and we do that. Now, obviously, this information we will not have here, I'm pretty sure, but let's see, where is this? Is create form open? Yeah. Then has rated, where is that? Has rated, yeah. So I think we can actually move this somewhere around here, I think. And we can say course ratings is, shit, that was a mistake. Let's get that back here. Or here, right? Yeah. My bad. I see. Okay, no problem. Let's do that. And then we're gonna do, we had another import here, so let's get rid of that. And yeah, let's do this. So yeah, so we're passing that down there now. And then we're gonna, yeah, do some yes. Okay, we can clean that up. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like if you have rated it already, yeah. Yeah, that sucks a bit, to be honest with you, yeah. All right, well, that's what it is. That's how it is. We're discovering stuff as we go. So that's perfectly fine. Alrighty. Think something like this, right? So let's take a look. So yeah, so I can't leave a review because I'm not enrolled. Now if I refresh, let's see what's happening now. So I should be able to leave it now, but I still can't. So can leave rating is what is it now? And it's complaining about something. Okay. If user is authenticated and if user is enrolled in a course, right? Now, so yeah, so that seems reasonable. This seems correct, if you ask me. This should evaluate to true. See, and it does, for the most part. Okay, so that's actually correct. It's because of this, right? So this is called can add rating. So yeah. And then inside we need to call this can add rating, not leave. So can add rating. And yeah, now I can actually leave it, right? Now if we go back here and I nuke this fella again, that should be gone. Yeah. So you can see now it updates the state and I can leave a review. All right, great. All right, beautiful. So that's that basically, pretty much. And why did we do this? Well, we did this because we need to keep this component generic, right? We need to keep this rating feature generic. So if we need ratings somewhere else in the future, then we cannot be also this is wrong, right? We need to, so this cannot be called students. It doesn't make sense. Not every feature is going to have students. Some other feature that we are rating might have cars, rate a car, or right. So so this has to be actually, yeah, let's actually see where we're using this. This is wrong. Oh, actually, no, we're not using that anymore. Sorry. So yeah, that's good. So okay, perfect, great. Good that we are not, because we're not supposed to. Okay. Great. Beautiful. Okay, so that still works. Great. Awesome. Which branch am I on? Am I on master or some shit? No, I'm not. Okay. Sheet. Okay. Let me just push those changes to the local branch just so we don't. Just so we don't lose it if my computer just decides to die or some stuff like that, right? I mean, I don't think so, but you never know. Everything's possible. Yeah, not really relevant to this. We can already push this to master. Yeah, this kinda is relevant, so we're gonna add this as part of this. Rating widget, certainly. Navbar 2, we're gonna get rid of that crap. Yes. Yeah, this is also part of this specific change. Yeah, so let's just say saving work. And yeah, let's commit it. There's some merge conflicts or some bullshit, right? Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Let me just solve this crap, man. Super strange. Current change is set current change, I think that's okay. Did we resolve them all in there? We did. Yeah, that's also fine-ish. Navbar, yeah. All right, did we? I think there's something still that we didn't do here. Is there? No. I see. Are we good? We good now? Stage changes now. Yeah, there's no more merge conflict, is there? Ah, we didn't add it. Okay, I see. All right, cool. Let's sync that now. All right, cool. Let me just make sure that those merge conflict actually went properly. Let's make sure that this guy likes what I did. Let's go to programmer network frontend. Yes. Pull requests, courses ID. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's do this Snook report, right? You want to keep your dependencies up to date, especially when it comes to those kind of critical things, right? So let's actually go and see. I don't know why it was skipped in Cloudflare. Actually, I saw when we let's go to the actual build in Cloudflare. I saw that it was for whatever reason skipped the last time. A bit strange if you ask me, honestly. But I don't actually know. So yeah, okay, it is deploying and that's good. Let me just do one thing. So now, so let's check out to master, right? That's actually what it's complaining about. Some change somewhere, huh? Ah, shit, we actually forgot to... I think we need to push those things to this repo as well. Okay, let's do that. Icons. Let's do that as well. Let's push that to this branch, courses UI. We forgot to do that. Is Cloudflare better than Vercel? I think that they serve different purposes, right? Vercel is more part of the... well, depending. I mean, no, I'm not using TypeScript, no. Vercel is... Vercel is part of Next.js and all of that environment they have. Cloudflare is a way bigger company, way older company, right? So depending for what, right? I just don't like TypeScript for this project. I like JavaScript better. And I'm gonna deploy this to... Will I though? I like JavaScript better. All right, great. You don't pay for anything. Cloudflare Pages is free. The place where Programmer Network is used, that's free. So if we go to my Cloudflare Pages, right, this is free, right? So actually, I think Cloudflare Pages, I believe, are generally free. I don't actually think that they have a premium one. Leo, love you, man. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow in a stream if you're around. So actually, no. So basically, you can see this is what I'm using. If there's ever necessity, right, I'm gonna switch to this. And this, you would need this basically if you get a bigger team and stuff, right? So obviously you would need more. But for now, right, not, right? There's really no difference, right, between free and pro and business. The only difference is for example, you would want more concurrent builds, for instance, if you have a bigger team. Obviously, if I was doing this as my job and not as a hobby project, right, then I would need way more than maybe 500 builds per month, maybe not even that. Karcher, thank you very much. I bought my domain 8 years ago, Programmer Network. I think 7 or 8 years ago. I bought it on Uni Registry. But yeah, you can see kind of, so you don't really get any difference between the free and business or pro. The only difference again is how much you can actually push, how much you can deploy, how many concurrent builds you can run at the same time, etc., etc. So that's the only difference, right? So which conflicts now? I'm actually genuinely curious. Is the question where am I storing my databases, or sorry, where I'm hosting them, or which databases? Everything's on Hetzner. My whole infrastructure, which is pretty complex, is on Hetzner. I can actually show you. You cannot. No. Cloudflare is a static host, so Cloudflare pages are just for static sites. No, this is not it. So no, you cannot do that. No. Give me a second. So if I open the diagram, right? My infrastructure is done manually. So the backend I had to do manually. So I did, and this is a lot of, if you haven't done this before, then it might be a bit complicated, right? Because I did several different layers of security and stuff. So essentially, this is Cloudflare right here. Now my whole infrastructure is behind Cloudflare IP ranges. So essentially, only requests from the Cloudflare can come to my server. So when you go to programmer.network and any associated services that my front end is calling, all of the traffic can only be delivered to Cloudflare IP addresses, because I'm routing all of the traffic to my services through Cloudflare, because Cloudflare gives me additional rate limiting, DDoS prevention, etc., etc., etc. So a lot of other stuff, right? Of course, I have my Nginx internally in my Docker network, right? But essentially, my rate limiting is handled by Cloudflare as well, right? And I get additional firewall on the Cloudflare side and stuff. Then I have internal firewall, just a regular, Ubuntu firewall, VFU or whatever. And I do some stuff in there as well. Then I have my whole reporting stack here. This is just for me internally, so you guys are not interfacing with this. This is basically if I go to Grafana. Now here I have my Prometheus, my dashboards, my logging and stuff. All of this is also manually configured by me. It's just a bunch of different Docker images. I have maybe 15 different Docker images for the whole infrastructure, right? So here I have Prometheus, Alert Manager. I use this so whenever I get so I can set my alerts in Grafana and Loki. So whenever I get an error of some kind of whatever, I can set up an alert. So for example, I have some Slack alerts. Every time I get an error that's greater than 400 status code or equal or greater than 400, I get a Slack message, right, on my Slack channel. Also set up manually. I have Google Cadvisor. This is a Docker image for analyzing Docker image performance, Docker containers. Certbot, this is how I have a cron job for renewing my SSL certificates. I have 2 SSL certificates, one for programmer.network, actually 3 of them. One for programmer network domain, which is handled by Cloudflare pages, one for the API, and then obviously one for Grafana. Actually, if you try going to this URL, you're going to be blocked because this thing is also behind firewall. So Grafana.programmer network, the access to this is only allowed from my IP address in this office here right now. So this is not exposed to you, and this is also firewall behind the Cloudflare firewall, basically, as well. And then I have Fastify API. That's the thing that we just coded together here. That's this code base here. Then my Fastify API is interfacing with Redis and Postgres. And then I have appsmith.com access, so I'm not building my internal dashboards. That would be a waste of time. Building internal dashboards is a waste of time from the business perspective. So I'm basically allowing access to my Postgres database and my API through AppSmith, and this AppSmith I can build custom dashboards in here, right? So for example, if I want to build a dashboard to see how many posts there are and what they are, if I want to do some analysis on, basically this is an open source tool, and this is the only tool I'm not running as part of this stack on Hetzner, simply because I didn't have the need to. I don't want to be running something that I don't have to. So this is the only thing I have running in the cloud. But I can just as well run this as I could have literally just ran another Docker Docker container and then have this as part of my internal kind of stack. I didn't want to because, again, I'm using it in the cloud, and the cloud version I'm using is also free. So why would I host something that I can use free? So that's this. So basically, the only access allowed to my stack that doesn't go through Cloudflare are those IP addresses, and those IP addresses are the IP addresses of AppSmith, right? So I'm saying, hey, allow access to AppSmith, allow access to my Postgres database. Over time, if this project gets serious, obviously I'm going to stop doing this, and then I'm just going to self-host this myself, and then I'm self-hosting everything. Yes, Postgres as well. Yeah. Yes, I am. And then, of course, I have some cron jobs to do Postgres backups every 6 hours. And I did that with Google Drive. So every 6 hours, I store I've set up a GCP, Google Cloud Platform, Google Drive API application. And then I have a cron job that stores the database backup every 6 hours, right? So everything is done basically, but again, it's manual. So if I was making money on this project, I would be using Google Cloud Platform. I would never be doing this myself because this requires time and knowledge and energy and stuff. On a positive side, it's very cheap. I mean, you can get 5, 10, 15, 20 euros machine on Hetzner, and this runs flawlessly, right? If we actually go to my Grafana, right, you can see that if we go, for example, here to the node exporter, you can see that my CPU is at 5%, memory is at 8%. So it's ridiculous, right? If we go to my nodejs, to my Fastify, right, this is basically the CPU usage. I think that this spike pretty much happened when, right? And then, yeah, there was something strange for sure. I think this is probably when we were deploying that this event loop lag went up, but we can see that the average is 21 milliseconds, right? So generally, when you see dashboards like this, you want to be here for the heap usage, for example, you want to be looking for memory leaks or something like that, right? Hey, are there random spikes in memory? Is the garbage collector not cleaning up something, whatever, right? So, but yeah, that's right. And then I have a dashboard, obviously, for my Postgres, right? And I want to see how my Postgres is performing, right? Because generally, right, when basement dwellers, when us nerds, when we talk about APIs, we talk way too much about through output of the API, which in 99.9% of the cases is not the bottleneck. So if you ever release a product online and you have some performance issues, it's going to be your database 3 million% more than your API, because your API, a single instance of node can deliver several thousands requests a second, but your database cannot deliver that through output. So you have to scale your database. So if this project ever becomes very popular, then I know that scaling database is going to be what we're going to be focusing on, and not necessarily scaling the API instances, because we can run, you know, now our Node.js instance in a cluster mode and 4 cores immediately, and right now that would change nothing. It would still work the same, right? And yeah, this is my Loki, right? So I'm using Loki to aggregate my logs, so I'm not printing my logs to the standard output. I'm storing my logs in a rotation file. So basically, there's something called log rotate on Linux, right? And I'm using this log rotate basically. So I have 7 files and I have a log rotation of 7 files. So I'm doing that so there isn't only one file that we're writing to, and that file then becomes super large, right? It can become several gigabytes of size, right? So every, I think, 3-4 hours, my logs are written to a different file, right? That's how that works. And yeah, here's just a simple Loki. I haven't utilized this properly yet, but you can see here, this is the dashboard that I wrote. And in here, I can see all of the errors with a status code of greater than 404. And every time when they happen, I get a Slack message that I set up using Alert Manager, right? So, so you can actually see here that how it looks. I didn't decorate those messages super nicely. I still have to do that, right? I use Sentry as well, yeah. But I want to drop Sentry, right? Because there's no point, right? If you do your logging properly, then you don't need Sentry, right? Because again, Sentry is nice when it's cheap, but if you go over 10,000 messages, then you have to pay for it. And I'm not going to pay for it if I can solve that with a couple of hours of time, right? So this stuff, right, the reason why those things are not super nice is simply because I haven't written the template properly yet, right? I know that I can, but also I don't want to do it because again, you have your application logs, right? You have your API logs. So logging twice is not necessarily a great idea, right? Because that's pretty much what Sentry is as well. It's just log aggregator that then summarizes your errors in a bit nicer way through the UI, right? And then, of course, don't take me wrong, so Winsword, right? I mean, I'm using Sentry for a decade. We also use it to Dream Data. So Sentry for us at Dream Data is fundamental. And I agree that Sentry can be incredibly useful when you work in a team. So if I had a team here at Programmer Network, I don't think that it would even be a question, right? For now, I do most of the work on this project on my own, and I don't really need it necessarily, right? But yeah, you can see basically, so for this thing in Grafana with Loki, it's super simple. You're saying, hey, read the Fastify API log, this volume, right? And then convert the payload to JSON when you're reading the file, and then, you know, so query all of the logs where response status code is greater than 404, right? So that's right. And then I have an alert rule, right? So if we go here to the rules, right? I have a very simple rule here. I can show you how that looks, just so you can get an idea how this works. So here I have a rule in my Loki instance, right? I'm saying, hey, there's something very similar. Just read the logs every minute. And then you can see here I have a alert manager basically sending stuff to my Slack, right? Now, what is this here? Well, this thing here is something that I was just too lazy to do, right? But if we go to, give me a second. Thank you very much, everybody, for your follows. Seriously, I appreciate it very much, guys. If I go and open up, shit, didn't we open like this infrastructure stuff, right? Yeah, where is it? It's over here, right? So if we go to config and alert manager, right? So this is the alert manager configuration, right? What you do, you create a Slack webhook when you log into your Slack admin dashboard, you do this. And then basically this template here that you can see basically is, so for example, annotation.description, this is an object that holds custom values that you have here. So if I now create several custom fields here, then I can interpolate some values, right? From the actual logs, I can send to my Slack whatever I want, right? So over here, I can get any data from my logs. So what does this mean? It literally means that you can nail exactly the same error messages as you get in Sentry, for example, right? Because you can do interpolation here. You can access any data in those fields from your actual logs or your queries. And I will, as the time goes by, I just don't have the time. It's a lot of work doing front end, back end, infra, all of that stuff. But you can do that very easily, right? And then you basically obviously have to update the Jesus Christ, man. Then you obviously have to update this, deploy it, restart your alert manager container, and now your Slack is getting errors of any kind you want. And of course, you can have different types of templates for different types of alerts. I only have a single alert here. If I wanted to have multiple alerts, well, I could still have them on a different Slack channel, whatever, and obviously with a different you don't I mean, it's a compliment. I always take it as a compliment. You don't have to say that you're kidding. what's my VS Code theme? It's a default theme with a background, right? So it's a default theme with a background extension and with this font. So that's it, right? So there's a lot of nice stuff in there, and there's a lot of work, and it's a lot of knowledge needed, because you have to set up the firewall in your system. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but this gives you a good overview of how it works. But yeah, if you don't have to do this, yeah, zero money to pay. So this is clearly possible, right? Now, as I always say, and as I'm trying to share this type of knowledge in this stream, of course, right, that I wish that I don't have to do this. Because keep in mind, yes, AWS, GCP, Azure, they are a lot more expensive. But let's be fair here, right? They're expensive because they're taking away a lot of this hustle from you, right? Now, of course, this can still be done properly. I think for the most part, I tried to think about everything. So it's still possible not to go to the cloud, and you can still be productive. You can still be, it's just, you can see, you know, I have, 10 different cron jobs for backups, for this. So it's more of I think the biggest value of GCP, and keep in mind, Dream Data company where I work, we are one of the biggest GCP partners in Denmark. So my company where I work, everything we have is in GCP. But to our defense, of course, BigQuery, Dataform, Kubernetes, our product itself highly depends on those services, so we really need it, right? But in theory or in practice as well, you can end up with something like this and then have a perfect control with probably 10 or 20x less cost, right? Because, for example, at one point in time, if Programmer Network would grow, I would most likely just introduce Kubernetes, do something similar to this, maybe get 2 or 3 more separate dedicated machines on Hetzner as well, and then just use Kubernetes to orchestrate those multiple machines easier, right? Because otherwise I would have to do it manually, and that would be very painful, right? But for now, I think we are very, very far from that, because I mean, you can see, right, if we go to Node.js application board, you can see that we are serving, like, on average 6.62 requests, right, per second, right? So it's like, and is this even per second? I don't actually know. Right, so right now we can host, Programmer Network on a smartwatch, right? Chinese smartwatch, the cheap one from Amazon, right? So let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? Easily, right? Yeah, but that's what it is, right? That's how it is. That's how it works, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of, the thing is, again, as I always say, depends where your focus is. If you want to build products, if you want to build a company, you certainly want to put yourself in a place where you can focus on building the business value, right? Infrastructure has zero business value, right? This stuff that I just spoke about for 15 minutes, some of you might be like, oh wow, Alex, that's actually pretty smart, la la la. But you're saying that as developers, but from the perspective of the product, it's useless. Like, no user comes to Programmer Network and says, wow, this is so useful because it's running on Hetzner, right? Or wow, this is so useful because it's running on GCP or AWS, right? So from the perspective of product, code is useless, right? I mean, code as, code is useless in general, because code isn't product or feature, right? So in a way, your customers, like, have you ever thought about internet, right? Like, or air. You don't wake up in the morning and you're like, wow, there is air, I can breathe. Nobody sits home and says, right? Nobody sits home and says, oh wow, my internet is fast. This is implicit. So is infrastructure. Nobody goes to, like, Amazon and says, shit man, this opened in 1 second. No, like, nobody cares, right? So that's the kind of, unfortunately, I worked as a Cisco engineer 15 years ago, That's where I started. That's where my career started. And I remember nobody cared. I mean, it's like, oh, your internet works. Wow, okay, my internet works. What do you mean? Like, of course it works, right? So nobody really gets excited about infrastructure or your internet working because like you expect that. It's like, okay, well, that's how it is, right? Unfortunately. And that's again where GCP, AWS, and cloud helps. You can reduce the amount of people you maybe need to do all of those things, and you pay extra for that. So let's be honest, I don't want to shit on those guys. It would be very unfair because you cannot get the same level of pricing doing things manually, which I just show you that I'm doing, and having a lot of those things taken away from you. When you're using GCP, you're not thinking about SSL certificates. You know, what do? You literally buy a domain, you click generate SSL, in 2 seconds it does that for you. You don't think about backups, you go and you click enable backups. How often do you want them? Done. You get what I mean? So this is what you pay for. So I think it would be silly to kind of expect the same level of things, right? Like that's what you pay for. And I think by no means having any sympathy for those big companies. It's just how it is, right? I mean, it's like you remove the necessity, and if you can remove something from your brain and not think about it, that's worth a lot of money, right? Because every single day what I do in the morning is like, shit man, is this thing still live, right? Like did I forget some security details somewhere, right? And that is the cost that you have to pay, you know, of manual infrastructure. You just have you have this constant fear, is like, fuck, did I, you know, because for example, even with the Cloudflare IP ranges, right? So for example, Cloudflare IP ranges, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, again, right, I know, I think my knowledge in infrastructure is pretty okay. You know, I'm not an expert, mainly because, you know, past couple of years, I'm not doing that as a full-time job. But so by no means, don't take what I'm saying as anything true or false, whatever. I'm just sharing, you know, my personal experience with it. I just think that, you know, past couple of years, maybe 5-6 years in the companies where I worked, you know, cloud did solve a lot of problems, right? Yes, you pay more, but when you have a business that generates profits, right, you generally don't care about your infrastructure. Does it cost $1,000 a month or 100 or 10,000? For a business that's operational and making a lot of money, that becomes an afterthought. Like nobody cares, right? So it is helpful, right? But I think you have to do it at the right stage in time, right? And Docker helped a lot, indeed. Like I think Docker is probably the best thing really that happened to programming world, if I may say, ever, right? I think virtual machines were painful, not just resource-wise, hardware-wise and stuff, but they were just painful in general. I agree with you, Numinix. I think Docker and even Docker Compose itself, right, an orchestration like that has helped enormously. I mean, if you have ever done networking, right, that is the beauty, right? I think fundamental problem with our job is that none of us will ever get a job where we will be able to do truly all the things that we want, right? You know, every time I change my job, okay, now I'm working as a tech lead, so you know, I'm moving more into management. Like I think maybe next 2 or 3 years I'm probably gonna stop working at home at work completely, and I'm gonna just be managing teams and stuff. But no matter what you do, you have to, if you want to really truly try additional things, you need to try building something at home, because I don't think that you're ever going to get a job where you can do front end, back end, infrastructure and all of this stuff, because it just isn't realistic, right? But give it a shot, man. You should not, like, you can go to DigitalOcean, go to Hetzner, DigitalOcean, go to go anywhere really. Like DigitalOcean, for example, is also very nice. It's one of my favorite companies, right? You can go here and you can get super cheap droplets, right? I mean, yeah, you can come here, for example, $4 a month. You can also go to AWS light sale, right? This is their attempt to kill DigitalOcean and services like that, right? But you have the light sale here as well, right? Which is incredibly cheap as well. So here for the AWS light sale, right? Screw the front end, man. Like you don't really. Well, Vercel is very specific, right? Vercel has very little to do with this, right? I don't think that we can use Vercel in any of this example here, right? Vercel is a server-side rendering product, right? For JavaScript. We're talking here about servers and infrastructure, right? Vercel is something very different, right? But you can try Amazon light sale, right? You can try, as I said, DigitalOcean, right? And of course, you can try. The reason why I would probably suggest DigitalOcean as well is the marketplace itself, right? Because in DigitalOcean they have this. Okay, I haven't heard about Cloudways. The thing is, yeah, I am. Ah, shit! Why this is one of Cloudways. Yeah, I cannot tell about this honestly. Like the main reason why I'm mentioning Amazon light sale and DigitalOcean especially, I think this is probably the product after Hetzner. So I've been using Hetzner for I think around 17 years, believe it or not. I think literally. DigitalOcean I think I've used probably more to 10 to 15 years. So, and that's why I'm mentioning both of them, because Hetzner, people don't know Hetzner about. Those are very old companies. They know their stuff. You know, Hetzner was founded in 1997, right? So I can only talk about those companies because they existed for so long and they have built some you know, credibility just by existence, staying to exist. Scaleway, it maybe rings a bell, but I don't think I've ever used this. All of this stuff seems a bit newer, right? So I don't know. I think most of what those types of products today do, like the Scaleway and stuff like this, I'm 90% sure that they don't have their own servers. They're probably reselling either AWS or GCP or whatever. It's just my assumption. I don't actually know, right? Well, you maybe had a negative experience, and I get that, right? I think I would phrase those things a bit more carefully, right? Because I think saying that something is terrible because something terrible happened to you is a bit. I don't think we can reason like that, right? I'm sure that there's some guy in the world that also had the issue with GCP and AWS and Azure and every single thing, right? So I get that, yeah. Yeah, sure. You had a bad experience, and I get that, but I didn't have that experience, right? Because you can apply the same logic to any product of any kind, right? Yeah, but now you're behaving like an asshole, and that doesn't help, right? I think we should try to talk like adults, right? So you shouldn't be cynical or whatever. I'm not saying that it's your bad. I'm saying that something is bad because something bad happened to you, right? Yeah, exactly. That's how you're writing right now, right? And it's probably not cool, right? So if you had a bad experience with someone, that's perfectly fine, right? But saying that it's bad because you had a bad experience is fundamentally flawed, right? Because then, my pleasure, and you're still being cynical. So that's really bad. That's not a way to hold a conversation, right? But anyway, everything is fundamentally bad. Based on how you talk, every product on the planet sucks. I'm pretty sure that Coca-Cola sucks as well for everybody because somebody got a diarrhea after drinking it, right? I'm sure that... Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, absolutely. How many millions of computers have got hacked running Windows, right? Does the Windows suck then? How many people couldn't turn on their Unix system on because they did an apt get upgrade, right? So your argument is flawed because you are taking your own experience and then applying that to the whole company, right? Oh my God, there was some dude at Hetzner who made the mistake. Like, how could that? I've never made a mistake in my life, right? It's silly, right? That's how it is, yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to show basically. Okay, I mean, I think it's pointless, right, to argue with you, right? I just think that you're fundamentally your sense of logic is just missing, right? Right? Because if your approach in life characterizing things that happen like that is how you apply things, then you must be a very fun person to work with, right? Oh my God, I had a bug. Let's just remove all of this, right? Oh my God, I got tracked in my browser. Let me remove the browser, right? Very flawed logic, right? I had an issue on Hetzner, hence Hetzner sucks, right? Of course, 100%, yes. Absolutely, yes. Literally, yes. So wait, should I take your now? Wait, so you're saying I should take your feedback now and say Hetzner made a mistake with some random dude online, hence they're completely insecure. Is that the logic that all of us should take away here now? Is that what you're saying? Well, then what can I tell you, man? Then I can't tell you anything else, really. I think that's really bad. That's really bad. Correct, yes. That is absolutely correct, yes. 100%. 100% correct. Well, you have no logic in that sense. If that's your logic, then it's not that your logic is flawed. You have none, right? That is the problem, right? Because you are saying fundamentally that the whole company is bad because a guy at his work made a mistake. So if that's your approach to life, then I don't know how are you even living? Why are you not living naked, right? Your shoes are gonna break, or your pants are gonna be broken at one point. So why are you even wearing clothes, right? I'm not having a bad day at all. I'm trying to have a conversation, right? I'm trying to have a conversation because you are saying that the company is bad, right? And I'm saying, based on what you're saying, that's not correct, right? Anyway, so going back to this, so essentially, so if you want to go with okay, let's just, you're right, okay? You're absolutely right. Let's just move away from that. Let's not discuss it. So basically, if you want to use if you want to use DigitalOcean, right? Yes, you are, absolutely. If you want to use DigitalOcean, basically, this is kind of one of the probably best selling points right now, right? You can see, for example, if you want to start kind of messing with things yourself, they have this app marketplace, and this is why you probably want to use it, right? Yes, Hetzner is insecure, absolutely, 100%. So what you would basically do, you would come here, and what they essentially do at DigitalOcean is you can either, I think here in the apps somewhere, you can either, I think, select, oh yeah. So what you can do, there are two things, right? You can deploy things like this, like you can choose one of the apps that they have, or you can create your own app like this, and then they would scan basically, they would scan your repository, right? And then based on if they could kind of figure out what the repository is, then they would deploy to in a proper way, right? So this is also, I think, one of the very nice ways about this, about the DigitalOcean as well. And as you can see, I think they've, yeah, actually it's $3 a month now. So I think this is the cheapest that they ever had. You get automatic SSL, right? So yeah. All right, so that's basically that. And then Hetzner, yeah, this is what we use for programmer network, and this is obviously something that I would suggest, of course. And I think right now we're paying for, wait, Hetzner pricing. Prices, yeah. So right now I think, no, where is it? Maybe 6, which one am I paying for? I don't actually remember. Yeah, this one is, so this is what I'm paying for programmer network, right? So this is what I'm paying for programmer network, right? So this is really hard to beat, right? I have not, honestly. No, I haven't tested the ARM, no. The thing is, I have a, so right behind me here, I have a Kubernetes cluster running on 4 Raspberry Pis, and that's running ARM, basically. So I have 4 Raspberry Pis, 4B, 8 gigs RAM of each, and they're running on K3s, basically. But I haven't tried the ARM, actually, in the cloud. But this is what I'm running. Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's the infrastructure that we are running. Hi everybody. Hi Mum. Okay, so that's good. What else? Ah, shit. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. But give it a shot. Give it a shot and see how it is, right? And of course, there's Linode, right? I've never actually tried them, but I've heard a lot of people saying good things. No, wait. I think it was Linode, right? IO or something. What was it? Linode? No. No. Yeah, it's this guy, right? Yeah. So I've never actually tried this, but where the fuck is the website, man? Ah, here. Oh wow, this is the website. What happened to their website, man? This looks like shit. Akamai Cloud Computing Services, man. What the hell is this? Well, I used to use Heroku many years ago. Yeah, I used to use Heroku. The main reason why I stopped using Heroku is because it became very expensive. I honestly used Heroku a lot around the times when they had a free droplets. Then I think they removed that. But I think Heroku is okay, right? It's just very expensive, right? I think this is so you can kind of see that, for example, so yeah, so this is 2 times more expensive than a Hetzner, for example, right? So basically in Hetzner you get 16, no, it's more. So for this price on Hetzner, so they got purchased. Okay, didn't know that. Thanks. So on Hetzner, basically you get 16 gigs of RAM, 4 CPUs for 20 euros. So yeah, so you can see Hetzner is still kind of probably the cheapest by far, right? So this is what you get on Hetzner, kinda. No. Yeah, no. So this is kind of what you get on Hetzner, just 16 gigs of RAM, right? For 20 euros. I don't know about Netcup. Let's try that. Let's see about that. Yeah, this is a German company, it seems, as well. Okay, if it's, yeah. So this is probably something in a level of Hetzner, right? Yeah. So on Hetzner, yeah, Hetzner has a load balancer. Yeah, I never used it, to be very frank with you, because I haven't needed it yet. But yeah, there is a load balancer, right? So you can come here, right? So this is basically you can literally create a load balancer super easily on Hetzner, right? You can come here, you can say create load balancer, you can choose the location of the balancer, right? I just haven't needed it, right? Ah, resource load balancing. I see. Okay, I see. Let's see the pricing here. I'm actually interested. Nice. Server, I guess. Let's see, server. Actually, wow, those are pretty good prices, I must admit. What the fuck? Are you serious, man? 10 virtual core, 10 V cores, 18 gigs of RAM. Is this? Wow. Okay. This is good, man. This is not bad at all, actually. Yeah, this is cheaper than Hetzner, actually. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, maybe time to bookmark this. Try it. Try it another time when we need some. Maybe we can host some additional service here just for fun and see how it works. Nice. Okay, let's put that there. But I mean, yeah, it's quite actually amazing and quite awesome to see how hosting basically is becoming free, more or less, right? I mean, this sort of stuff I remember 10-15 years ago, man, like was hundreds of euros, right? Now when you see the competition out there, you realize, like, look at this, man, like 18 euros, right? You can host a fucking you know, like whatever you want in this, right? It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Yeah, okay, this is I haven't actually. The main question, right? The main question is, where are they getting their service from? For example, the biggest, obviously, a couple of days ago, I was at the Google office here in Copenhagen. We watched this Google conference, right, about generative AI and stuff. And you know, as they said there as well, right? It's all about infrastructure, right? Where GCP wins, right, is they have the cables literally going beneath the ocean and stuff. So it's really about where those servers are. Yeah, Hetzner has it on-prem, exactly, right? I think that's like AWS, for example, still in the context of the infrastructure, in the context of the networking infrastructure, is way behind GCP, right? Or Google, behind Google in general, right? Because they have the massive networking infrastructure, right? Which is really hard to beat. Low latency, secured networking infrastructure, which they control, right? So, and this is where a lot of those services like this, like Hetzner, like this and stuff, of course they fall behind, right? We cannot compare an enterprise, you know, world biggest company like Google to companies like this or Hetzner or whatever this stuff is, right? So Azure, I don't know, honestly. Azure is, I don't think I've ever hosted anything on Azure in my life, and I don't think I ever will. So it's really hard to say, right? I mean, I never had bad experience with any host. I used to host things on whatever you name it, right? GoDaddy and shit like that, random WordPress sites, right? When I was a kid. So it really depends on what you do and how you do it, right? And how you utilize different other technologies and different other layers of technology, and how you do your firewall, how you do your networking, right? So there's a lot more than just, hey, you take this machine and host something, right? So there's way more But, you know, again, as I always say, if you want to build a product, if you want to build a company, if you want to focus on the value, then you want to use the cloud, right? You don't want to be doing manual shit because that's waste of time, right? No, I don't think I had, no. What the fuck happened? What? I didn't ban him, what? What the hell happened, dude? I clicked his name and I kind of banned him or some shit. What the hell happened, man? Jesus Christ. How does this Twitch thing works? Like, I click... Oh, shit. What the fuck? Delete... Oh, man. Sorry, dude. Like... Okay, this is a... 40... Jesus Christ, man. Okay, so there's this icon that you can click to ban someone. Okay, Jesus Christ. Well, yeah. So democratic. Nice. Sorry, man. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Mega banned. Misclicked. It was a coincidence. I did not plan to do that. It did feel... Misclick. Yeah, exactly. That's that. Well, okay, we got a few people signed up today. That's nice. Always nice to get more people. What do I want to say? And yeah, the only thing that I didn't mention about the infra here at Programmer Network, what I did at least, basically I'm using GitHub Actions. I was at Dream Data, we're using Circle CI, and back in the days I used Jenkins the most. I would never use Jenkins again, even in Insanity. And I would not even recommend it to my biggest enemy. It's so much work and so much shit. So I was between GitHub Actions and Circle CI and Travis, I don't know if Travis still exists. Does Travis... You signed up. Thank you very much, man. You signed up. Nice. So there's Travis CI. Yeah, actually, it's still alive. Okay, cool. Oh, fuck. Actually, I have another service to suggest for those of you who need like a static site hosting. So I've told you about Cloudflare Pages, right? Where I'm hosting the Programmer Network. This is another great one, right? This is super simple if you wanna have a personal website, right? This is something it's free. You can have a custom domain for free as well. You can add a CNAME, right? So super nice. Netlify, yeah, sure, Netlify as well. Yeah, definitely. I'm not suggesting that it's bad. I'm just saying this is way simpler. So this is like, this comes with a simple CLI tool, right? But yeah, I'm mainly mentioning this thing because it's super simple, way simpler than Netlify, right? So here you create your project directory, you authorize with this surge thing, and then you just say, I think surge deploy or whatever, and you just deploy your static sites to and I think they're hosting this. I think they're hosting things on AWS S3, so it's actually very fast, right? Let's just write that down. Man, shut the fuck up. Okay. Let's put it here. Let's drag it here. Yes. Priority, whatever. Let's just say that it's medium. Research. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, buddy. Thanks. Yeah. Cool. Great. Yeah, I mean, it was nice. It was nice discussions, right? So I mean, I don't have any I stream based on the feeling, right? If it's fun, I'm gonna stream longer. If it's not, I'm gonna, right? You know, it has to be fun, right? So it's more like, I think, very nice discussions, and I like the discussing infrastructure, right? I mean, I'm probably not gonna sleep now. It's 1 a.m. I'm probably gonna watch a series or something, and then I'm gonna sleep, so it's fine, right? But yeah, it's 1 a.m. indeed, so it's very late. Exactly, 1 a.m. Exactly. Oh shit, actually, I switched to OBS. How do I change the scene? Full camera, like this, yeah. By the way, for those of you who were here yesterday, right, I did configure the guitar stuff with my audio interface and stuff. I cannot show you now because my kid and wife, they're sleeping, right? I mean, I will wake up probably with my kid in like 6 hours or something. He wakes up at like 7 or something like that, right? So for sure, it's gonna be like that, right? It's just not gonna be running outside. It's gonna be running for him, with him, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's round it up then. I think it's 1 a.m. for many people here. I think a lot of people are from within the EU. Thank you for the discussions. I don't know if that guy that we had this agreement is still here, but thanks to him for discussion as well. I hope he didn't get offended. So Sweden there. Well, the same stuff. Yes. Yeah. Cool, guys. Thank you very much for being here. As always, great discussions. Everybody sleep well, and yeah, I hope you had a good time. I did. I certainly did. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna stream tomorrow for sure. Good night. Good night, man. Fishy. Good night, everybody. Cheers. Bye bye. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care.